All right, testing, testing, one, two, testing, testing, one, two. Okay. All right. Good day, good morning, good evening, good late night, depending on what time of the day you are watching this video. I am Sean Garvey. That is my moniker name for both radio and television. But on a business note, I am known as Sean Garvin, the owner of Reach One Communications, co owner of Honey, and also the founder and CEO of Reach One Communications, the parent company to the streaming app Honey, available on Roku. And during this explainer video, I will talk about all things considered So Dates Live, which is a dating game show that is aired on Sunday nights. Not every Sunday night, just every other Sunday night, but also can be seen on demand on multiple streaming platforms. But we'll get into that a little bit later in this explainer video. And if you are a first time to Soul Dates Live or to this video, welcome. I appreciate you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to listen and watch me break down everything that you need to know about this dating game show. So, to give you a little bit of context and backstory behind the dating game show Soul Dates Live, I created this dating game show back in 2023, which really didn't take me too long to create a dating game show, especially online. I did everything on my own manually to curate this show, and I wanted a show to be different from the other projects that many people know me for, whether it's the Beat Break Morning Show, Therapy Ain't No Joke, and a few other projects that I executive produce and help produce outside of Soul Days Live. But I wanted to make a different kind of show for people who are looking to date for different reasons, whether it's to date with the intention of building a strong foundation or relationship with their potential significant other, or date with the intention to get married one day. And to give you even more context, I actually did a few matchmaking dating episodes on the Beat Break Morning Show in the past. So if you have been a person since day one watching any of my content based shows from the Beat Break Morning Show, you would know that I had a few people participate in those dating episodes. And I actually did a matchmaking show where it was actually a matchmaking special edition of a particular show that I produced once upon a time on terrestrial radio. But that's all in the history in the history books. But fast forward to Soul Dates Live in 2023, I was inspired by a number of different dating online shows that were out there post pandemic. And I said to myself, if I created a dating show during the pandemic, I probably would have been a millionaire by now. Or the show would have been a lot more on a bigger scale than where it is now. And thankfully, I'm able to continue this show in 2025 and beyond, just because of the amount of support that I garnered over the past couple of years since the development stages of making this show. And so I just did a trial and error during the first few episodes of the show just to see where it would go online and to get the reaction and the kind of energy that I would receive from people who are viewers and watchers of online content via YouTube and other places where the episodes landed on. And I'm even more thankful that I was able to curate this show from 2023 all the way up to now with the help of a few people. I even had a couple of people were actually two women co-host the show for a short period of time. Both of them moved on to doing great things in media or outside of media. Shout outs to Teresa and shout outs to the Ashley Monique for assisting with some of the episodes that I curated or helped curate in 2024, and the earlier part of 2024. I mean, yeah, the part of yeah. I'm sorry, I'm getting my dates a little bit mixed up here. 2024, I brought them on in 2024, and they did a phenomenal job in some of the episodes that you might be able to see or can watch on demand if you go to our YouTube channel at Reach One Network. Speaking of which, like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Reach One Network. That's where you can watch full past episodes of Soul Days Live from 2023 all the way up to the most recent one in 2025. So, shouts to Teresa and the Ashley Monique. And I can't forget Kelly because she was more of a supporter of the show, but you may have seen her only one time on the show, but big shouts to her anyway for being one of the early supporters of Soul Days Live. So back to Soul Days Live, the show. Even more context to the backstory of Soul Days Live. It started out as a show where we connect different people through music, and I got the idea, a little bit of it, from another dating source that used its app to match people based on music compatibility. And in the space of broadcasting and content creation, etc., I always want to be ahead of the game. I always want to be different from what everybody else is doing with their dating shows. And I said to myself, I'm like, okay, you know what? Let's do a dating show around music. A lot of people love music. Music is the soundtrack to people's lives. It also affects the kind of mood that you are in and the kind of behavior that you have. And that's how the show started off as a show where we bring people together, singles primarily, and have the dater ask the contestants various questions about music. What is your favorite artist? What is your favorite song? Name this tune, et cetera, just to see who he or she is more compatible with based on their musical choice or their musical taste. And we had some successful episodes that came from that. And then as the show graduated and evolved, me and a few other creatives decided to change the tone of the show and make it not just about music, but about other interests that the dater, the bachelor, the bachelorette may have with that other dater that is on the show as well. But that's a little bit of the origin story behind Soul Days Live to where now it has expanded to being what it is. And I'm so thankful and happy that we had so many participants come on the show and make the show what it is to this day. And I will say that a lot of the episodes that I have hosted or co-hosted or even been a part of as a dater has brought some memorable moments that you would get an opportunity to go back and watch and see on demand. All right. So we're almost about 10 minutes into the video. I'm not going to be too long-winded with the backstory behind Soul Days Live, but just to summarize it all up, I wanted to do a show that was different from all the other dating shows, but this time brings some integrity to it. And as I know that the dating scene has changed a whole lot over the years post COVID, to where dating doesn't even look the same, it doesn't sound the same, and everybody has something to say about the dating scene, no matter where you in. And we're based in Atlanta, so so many people have something to say about the dating scene in Atlanta. You can only imagine, and you can only go off based on what you heard in the internet space or on YouTube about how the dating scene has been. But behind the show So Dates Live, when it comes to integrity, I want to bring people on that are looking for love and not looking for clout. In the world of social media and where is that now and stuff, people get on different platforms and look for an opportunity to expose or to do anything for clout, like Offset said in his song, do anything for clout, right? And so with Soul Dates Live, it's a bit different. It takes the show back to how it used to be. And if you grew up watching shows like Love Connection and The Dating Game, you may know what I'm talking about. And for all of my late millennials and Gen Zers, you may not relate at all. You probably didn't know that there was a show, a dating show like a Love Connection or like a dating game show that existed. But over here, we're all about integrity and bringing people through meaningful conversations as if they are on their first date with each other, and the name speaks for itself. So Dates Live. Of course, we all are familiar with the term soulmates, but in my creative brain, I wanted to develop a show that doesn't necessarily call itself soulmates, because everybody's familiar with the term, but I wanted to be catchy. And so I just took dates, since dates rhyme with mates, and it just makes sense to call the show So Dates Live. And the show is live most of the time. So there you go. It's catchy, it's entertaining, and it's fun, and it's appealing to a lot of people. And I appreciate everybody for the compliment behind the show So Dates Live. And it's just like Soulmates, but it's So Dates Live because you're actually interacting with people in real time, and you're pretty much shooting your shot with that person live in front of hundreds to thousands of people watching in real time, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's on social media, or all the other platforms that the show is on, including my channel, Honey, which you see in the background right here. The show that we're running right now, Honey, is not So Dates Live. It's a different kind of show, but it's somewhat similar to So Dates Live. But this is not So Dates Live that you're seeing in the background, but it is my channel, Honey, which is the new movie channel for independent films and television content. Download the Honey app on your Roku TV under channels. More details are on our website, reach1communications.com. So, I had to throw in that shameless plug there. All right. So, um, back to Soul Dates Live. So yeah, that's pretty much the context behind Soul Dates Live. Of course, we bring in real people, no matter what background they're from. We don't discriminate on Soul Dates Live. We bring in all different walks of life on the show: male, woman, trans, person from the LGBTQIA community. It don't matter, as long as you are coming on the show with the intention of wanting to date somebody that you think you will potentially be with, based on the number of questions that you would ask each dater on the show. So here's the breakdown of everything with the show, and I'm gonna answer some of your questions that you sent to both me and my assistant Kelly involving the show and what is required and etc. So we'll get into that in just a few moments. So the show is internet, like I mentioned, is virtual, is online. We do not fly people out to a central location or to where we are based out of Atlanta to meet that person in person. This is all remote. This is all virtual. No different from the other online dating shows, except the Pop the Balloon show, which is a different kind of show than our show here. And we take one bachelor or bachelorette and place them in a virtual studio like the one that you're seeing right now, which is StreamYard. And we bring in three people, at least a minimum of 3 to 4 bachelor or bachelorettes, single people in the studio. And we go through 3 rounds where the bachelor or bachelorette ask each contestant questions based on what their first date looks like, what their personality is, and just different questions that the dater will ask the other dater. So, to put it in perspective, I'll go through each round real quick. So, we have round one, which is first date out. If you go back and watch any of my shows, this is the first round where the bachelor or bachelorette asks the contestant, tell me your ideal date. Okay. So even though this is a virtual dating situation, the bachelor or bachelorette asks each contestant their ideal date as if they are having like an in-person one-on-one date. Okay, like what would our first date look like? Would it be going to the movies? Would it be going to go eat? Would it be going out dancing? Specifically, what do you imagine what our first date would be, right? And so that contestant answers that question, and that contestant has the choice to ask the dater that same question as well. So that's round one. Okay. And then round two is let's play favorites. And favorites is a round where each dater will ask each other, what is your favorite fill in the blank? Okay. It could be, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite movie? That sort of thing. And it just helps each dater get to know each other during the online dating process. So the bachelor or bachelorette will ask 3 daters, ask each dater, what's your favorite, you know what? Okay. So it doesn't matter. It could be something like, what's your favorite car? you know, and the more answers that you get from each contestant will tell you a little bit more about that person. All right. And then round three is that's so random. That's so random, meaning the bachelor or bachelorette can ask each contestant any question that comes to their minds. Okay. So, whatever random question you want to ask each dater, go for it. And each dater can ask the main dater, the bachelor or the bachelorette, any questions that they want to ask them, as long as it's appropriate enough to ask on a television show like So Dates Live. And so that's all the rounds. And then we take a break. We go into a commercial break. And that gives the viewer an opportunity to decide who the bachelor or the bachelorette should go on a date with. Okay. And speaking of break, I am going to take a water break real quick. Give me one moment. All right. Speaking of breaks, I had to do that for 1 second. Um, and so we let the viewers decide on who they think is a good fit to go on a date with. But we don't just leave it up to the viewers. At the end of the day, we leave it up to the bachelor or bachelorette to decide who he or she wants to go on a date with. You know, would you go out with contestant number one? Would you go out with contestant number two? Or would you go out with contestant number three? Okay. And the Bachelor and Bachelorette is basically going off of all the answers that were given during the duration of the dating show. Okay. And pretty much the chemistry, the connection, and all that. So that's how it works on the show. If you are going to be a first time dater on the program. Okay. Now, what happens after the show, right? Um, well, before I get into that, um, Bachelor or Bachelorette must choose one out of the three, and the other two will make their last remarks before they exit left. Okay, and the last few people that you will see on the show is the Bachelor or Bachelorette and the person that he or she chose to go on a date with. And then we allow them to get to know each other a little bit more, and make their last remarks before we end the show. And after all that, we work out the logistics behind the show, which of course is um, have them exchange contact information if they want to exchange contact information. And, sometimes we have had daters exchange social media handles if that's their best way of contacting each other. So, that's totally up to them. We don't do it publicly or live on the air for security purposes. And then we also send them an email. It's more like a disclaimer, just letting them know that, hey, we're not responsible or liable for anything that happens on the date if the two parties do decide they want to go on a date with each other. So, just date at your own risk. We make sure that we word that in the email so that way both parties are aware that um, they are responsible enough to go on a date with each other that they have never seen and what have you, and know what they are signing up for, know what they're walking into. So everything is explained in the email when both parties get the email. But before anything of that, we are starting to give people consent forms, daters to sign off on before they come on the show. That's another thing I want to point out too in this explainer video. For all of my daters out there, we will be sending daters a consent form to sign off and agree to the terms that are enclosed in the document to avoid any type of liabilities or any type of potential future legal stuff and what have you. It's just to make sure that everybody is on the same page before they come on the show. Because sometimes people sign up for the show and not know what they're getting themselves into, or, sometimes some people don't want their likeness to be seen on camera, this, that, and the other, even though they know that they're coming on a televised show. But just for the sake of everything and making sure that everybody's on accord with each other, we send we send people, or we're starting to send people consent forms to sign off on. It's almost like release forms, if you will, but you're consenting to us to use your likeness and to have an understanding of what is required and what is in place before coming on the show. Okay. And also, along with that consent form, or inside of that consent form, is a disclosure stating that we do not pay people to be on the show. Okay. So I want to make sure I make that clear in this explainer video, is that we do not pay talent to be on the show. Okay. Um, you are a dater, but you also considered as a talent because this is a televised show as well as audio. So it's everything all in one. It's television, but it's also podcast at the same time. and we don't get paid. This is pretty much like a small independent platform. We rely on people to make donations and monetary contributions to help this show stay afloat and to keep it running and to stay on the air. Everything behind the scenes costs. All right. So this is pretty much almost like um sorry, got a notification here. Everything costs around here. The electricity, the internet, everything costs, and we need money to pay these bills on a weekly to monthly basis. So we ask people to, send in what they can send in to help the show stay running and to keep the show on all the multiple platforms that we're streaming on. So if you can please show your support, that would be great. We do have a Cash App here, and I also flash this at the bottom of my screen every time I do So Days Live. Cash App, $ Reach One Communications to support the show. So this is something that I show or display on the screen to viewers that watch the show on demand or in real time when they watch the show live on YouTube, Honey, The Flow, Apple TV, Fire TV, wherever they get their content from. Okay. So if you see me do that, there's a reason behind that. Okay. All right. So with that being said, um, let's get to the questions really quick. And this is part of the explainer video because we get a lot of questions from people before they come on the show so they know what they're signing up for and they are um when inquisitive about certain things on the show, being that this is their first time coming on the show and what to look out for prior to them coming on the show. So let's go to question one, and this question comes from a potential dater who is interested in coming on the show as either one of the daters or the main dater. But this person question is, so how would it work when I come on? Okay, so very, very great question. All right, so how it works is this. We send our daters an outline of all the details they need to know prior to coming on the show. And that also includes the StreamYard link. So for those that see the StreamYard logo, the duck with the earbuds or headphones on its ear, we're powered by StreamYard. We still plan to simulcast the show on Riverside FM. We were supposed to do it a few weeks ago, but we got sidetracked with some other stuff that needed our attention. So we're going to still uh, streamline on Riverside.fm very, very soon. So we had a little bit of a setback, but it's coming. But in the meantime, the daters that will be coming on, let's say this upcoming week's show, will click on the StreamYard link. Now, if you're new to StreamYard, it's a platform where people, whether it's the host or the guests, come on the platform and be put in the queue section to be put in there before they come on screen, before they come on camera, like the one that you are seeing right now. There are multiple videos about StreamYard that you can go on YouTube to learn more information about how to log on StreamYard. But it's not a really hard thing. It's really easy. You just click on the link and it's going to ask you, or it's going to show you rather, how you want your name to be displayed, including a section where it says headline. You can put in your social media handle, you can put in your nickname, especially your social media handle if you want people to follow you on social media. You can put in your social media handle, your website, whatever information you want people to know about your brand, you can put it in that section. But the top part is going to ask you to display your name. You don't have to put your full name or any crazy thing or what have you. Just simply put your first name or your alias name or what you want me to address you as in that box. Okay. And then it will automatically put you in the queue where me, the host, will see you at the bottom of the screen, and it just gives me an indication that you're there, and I will bring you on camera with me when it's ready, when I'm ready to bring you on camera. Okay. But like I said, there are tutorial videos on how to come on StreamYard. You will get another link to where it will take you to the instruction page. The instructions page will outline how to use the link coming into the studio. Okay. Now prior to that, I want to make sure that people know that when you click on the link, or actually before you click on the link or you do anything with StreamYard, have your stuff together. Okay. We also stress this in the email that we send to our daters. Have your ish together. Okay. And let me just expound on that for people who never done this type of thing before. Because sometimes we've had people who come on camera and they were not camera ready. They didn't have the frame right, they didn't have the lighting right, or the background was very distractive, if you will. And so we recommend people that are going to be coming on camera to please use good lighting. Number one, please use good lighting as much as possible. If you have to get two or three lamps or an LSD, I think it's called an LSD light or something like that, like the one that I have next to me, or put yourself in another room where it's not totally dark. You know, you want to be in a room where you have great lighting. Because if you in a room where it's dim or there's hardly any lighting at all, people can't hardly see your face. And people are going to comment on that in real time on YouTube and other streaming platforms that we stream the show on. So please, people, make sure that you have good lighting when coming on the show. Okay. And then the second thing is you want to be centered in the frame. Don't be here or don't be over here or don't have your camera like this or whatever all the way up to the ceiling or anything like that. But you want to be centered, like how I am positioned. Okay. So that way people can see you centered. Um, so please make sure you do that. And you want to be close to the camera as much as possible, just like what I'm doing right now, where you can actually see me. Okay. So don't be all the way far back or anything of that nature. Make sure that you're close to the camera as much as possible. I'm telling everybody this because we had um, episodes in the past where people didn't follow instructions. Unfortunately, they were all over the place before coming on camera, and for people to see you, to actually see what you look like and everything, you want to be able to be centered in front of the camera, so that way you can get the best visibility as much as possible. But like I said, go to StreamYard or go to YouTube and click on StreamYard or type in StreamYard rather tutorial videos, and they talk about this in their tutorial videos on how you should position yourself when coming on camera. Okay, so you want to make sure that you come on camera correct because it's television. People are going to see you, and especially with it going on YouTube and everything, people are going to see you on YouTube as well. So you want to make sure that you're positioned as much as possible. Another thing I want to stress to many people, especially daters, before coming on Soul Dates Live, is make sure you are in an area in your house or wherever you are at with a strong Wi-Fi connection. Okay, people say your Wi-Fi is Wi-Fi. That means that you have poor internet connection, or you may need to reboot your internet modem to get it to function again. So if you have to unplug your modem before coming on the show, please do that. Okay? Please do that before coming on the show to make sure that you avoid any type of technical malfunction or technical difficulty. Okay? Because there have been times where we've had episodes where people froze and they log off and whatever the case may be. So avoid all that by making sure that you are in a decent area in your room, in your house, or whatever, where you have strong internet connection. Make sure you have a strong internet service. Um, and you unplug that bad boy and plug it back in and let it reboot. A lot of times, just like all of us, we leave the modem on all day and all night, and it needs to recharge. So I won't get into the too much into the technical language behind that, but please, people, just make sure that your Wi-Fi is on point before coming on the show. The thing I get asked the most is, before we go to the other questions, the thing I get asked the most is, do I come on phone or do I come on the laptop computer? Now, that is your choice. Um, Whether you want to come on phone or come on laptop, I just know that from my observation from doing these episodes and the shows and stuff, laptops are more reliable than the phones. Okay. Um, sometimes people don't put phones on do not disturb, and that could interrupt you being on the show in real time whenever you get an incoming call or what have you, or you may mistakenly hit the answer button instead of the X button, and you got something going on while you are on the show. You know what I mean? I've done shows on the phone before, but my best reliability is the laptop computer. So if you can help it, please be on your laptop computer when coming on Soul Dates Live. Okay. If you can come on your phone, you can, but I just know that sometimes, with phones, they can be a bit tricky. So just do your best to come on laptop computer, as opposed to the phone. All right. Let's go to question number 2 from one of our potential daters coming on the show. I am available, but will the bachelors fit what I am looking for? Okay. Another excellent question. So let me break this down. Before the show, we send potential daters a list of questions to answer to help us get an idea of what he or she is looking for before coming on the show. And so I will say this with all honesty, most of the people that you're looking for on the show may not fit everything that is on the list. Um, the the 2 or 3 things that are important to us: age. That's number one, age. And I say that's number one. Of course, we let people know beforehand that the show is only for people 21 and older. Okay. And I'm going to say that so far, most of the inquiries that me and Kelly been receiving over the past few weeks, most of them have came from people in their 20s. And we have had some inquiries that have came from people that are in their late 30s, 40s, and 50s, and even 60s. But we've been getting a lot of submissions from people in their 20s. And so, say if in the questionnaire you're 25 or 26 and your age range is 24 to 30, okay, we base it off of the age and we look for, okay, who is close, who is close to meeting your qualities despite age. So that person who meets all your qualities or meet most of them, but that person may be 33, 34. He or she could be a potential match for you, even though you're looking for somebody that is between the ages of 24 to 30. You might find somebody who meets most of your qualities, but that person may be like in their mid 30s to late 30s, you know. Um, so we have to take that into consideration. Um, we try our best to, um, match somebody or at least get candidates that are looking for most of what you're looking for or some of what you're looking for. We try our best, when it comes to looking at people's answers and looking at other people's answers. And we just say, okay, I, I think this person would be good for that person for that night. So we look at everything, but the honest answer is you're not going to be able to be matched with everything you're looking for on that list. That's just honesty. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then another thing too is we do ask in the questionnaire, are you looking for somebody in your local area or outside of your local area? Are you okay with long distance dating, that sort of thing, right? And sometimes it's like 50-50. Sometimes we get people who say, I don't mind dating somebody outside of my local area. And the other half, we get people who say, well, I am looking for somebody that lives closer to me, right? Keep in mind, people, that this is internet. This is an internet game show. And so when you're on the internet, especially when you're on an internet game show like the one that we have, which reaches out to not just only viewers across the 50 states, but overseas. We have people in different parts of the world that are watching us. It's an internet show where you are in a pool with other people that are also looking to date, whether it's in their local area or outside of their local area. Just keep in mind it's the internet. The internet is full of people from different states. If we were a local show, like I said, we're based in Atlanta. If we were a local show, we will only focus on local singles, and we would have a premier spot to do our show out of in Atlanta only. And that's something we're in talks in talks right now. I can't really go in all the details about that because everything is still in the infancy stages right now. Um, but you know, if it's a local show, then more than likely we will match people locally in Atlanta. If we're going to be honest and transparent, but because this is an internet-based show, if you say, for example, I'm looking for somebody who lives in the same city as me, like New York City, right? We also go by how many people have submitted their interest to us. So if it's one lady to three guys and that lady prefers to date somebody in New York City and you have one guy who lives in Houston that meets all of her credentials, meets all of her qualifications, but he's in Houston, and you have one guy who lives in California, and you have one guy who lives in New Jersey, and all three meets her credentials or her qualifications, then we have to go with that and let you and whoever you pick work that out. You know what I mean? But the person who's in New Jersey or whatever might be, um, the closest that you could get to your local area, New York City. You know what I'm saying? Because New York and New Jersey are neighboring states, and that's the best that we can do because, we haven't really been getting too many submissions from people from New York or from New York City, if that makes any sense. And then also too, I want to say this, just from doing these kind of shows in the past and what have you. You're in a pool. You're entering in a pool of people from different states across the country. And so, um, everybody's not local. Everybody is just in different states or whatever, but they're open to traveling, depending on if the chemistry is right, if the connection is right. They are open to travel. You know, my suggestion is that if that's somebody that you really have an interest in and you want to get to know, what have you, you kind of have to be maybe a bit open minded to a certain extent to want to meet that person halfway, long run, or long term if it turns into a long term situation. Or it could just blossom into a friendship thing where it doesn't have to elevate to anything romantically. It could elevate into a friendship where, you're friends with that person who is on the East Coast and you are on the West Coast. It may not be a match between you and that person, but at least you all are friends and you all live on different coasts of the country. And it may develop and blossom into something more serious in the near future, as long as the friendship is there. And that's another thing on top of another thing is we employ people to start off as friends first and then work their way up. If there is going to be a long term connection between the two. All right. So hopefully that answered your question. But um, just keep in mind that the bachelor or the bachelors may fit some or most of what you're looking for, but not everything. Just being realistic, you know. Um, I come across daters, both men and women, that have a laundry list of different things they want in a person, what have you. And I know this is kind of cliche to say, but 9 out of 10, you're not going to meet that perfect person, or 10 out of 10, you're not going to meet that perfect person, or that person that fills up everything on your list. You can ask anybody that. You know what I'm saying? Um, so just being realistic, you're not gonna meet that person that fits everything you're looking for. Now if you do, you hit the lottery, you got the winning ticket. But from a realistic standpoint, um, you know, you might meet the person on So Dates Live that is not your type or not the type of person that you would date or what have you. But if the two of you all match anyway and you all get to know each other, hey, you never know. It could blossom into something serious. So just keep that in mind. Question number 3. Good afternoon. This comes from another potential dater. Will I be the main date? As in, will there be eligible suitors for me to pick from? So it kind of goes back to question 2, or a little bit of what I said behind question number 2. That all depends because you're entering into a pool of people who have submitted their interests to So Dates Live, and it all depends on how many people we get. and how many people will be available to come to the taping of Soul Dates Live. And then another thing I want to bring to everyone's attention, and I've learned this from doing dating shows in the past and being on other people's dating shows in the past as well. It'd be more women coming on dating shows than they are men. And I've actually heard this from other people who have done dating shows. They get more women coming on dating shows than they would men. So if you are a single woman, right, and you want to be the main dater, we got to have a pool of available men that are going to be coming to the taping of the show on that night at that time. We got to have like a really good library of men available that week or that particular period. But if we only have one or two guys or just only one guy available and there's a pool or a library of available women that are single and want to come on the show, then chances are you may go from being the main dater to one of the daters. So everything on the show is subject to change depending on um, the number of people that submit their interest to the show. So that's how it works. And also too, when it comes to eligible suitors, and this is why we do our screenings, because we don't just bring anybody to the show. We bring people that have to fill out the questionnaire before they come on the show just to make sure that they are perfectly sane, that they do not have an extensive criminal record or criminal history before coming on the show. Because, for the safety of everybody involved, we have to vet and screen people to make sure that they are sane enough to come on the show. And if they're not, then we can't bring them on the show. And they won't be considered to be an eligible suitor to be on the show. All right. Um, but it all depends. So for the dating game show that we got coming up, and this kind of segues into the Valentine's Day episode that we got coming up. We got half and half that are responding to the email that Kelly sent out earlier, which is, asking people who all want to be involved in the Valentine's Day edition of Soul Days Live. So we've had pretty much, 50% men inquiring and 50% women inquiring. So we just right now we're pretty much just looking at who all is available. Because I'm gonna tell you right now that this coming Sunday, if you're watching this show or watching this video tutorial explainer, today is February 4th, and Valentine's Day is just only a few days away. So we're gonna be doing a Valentine's Day edition of the show this coming Sunday because we planning on replaying the show on multiple platforms leading to Valentine's Day, which falls on Friday, February 14th. And so Soul Dates Live is going to air this Sunday night. And if I'm looking at my calendar here, today is the 4th. I want to say, and my calendar on my laptop computer is not working at the moment. So I have to go on my phone and see what date Sunday falls on. So we're looking at February 9th. Okay, so that's a few days away from the 14th on a Friday. So on February 9th is when we should be able to have all of our confirmed daters for the show. And then we will determine who will be the main dater, who will be one of the daters, or what have you. But if we know for sure who all is going to be on the show the following day, as of Saturday going into Sunday, then we will let everybody know who will be the main dater or who will be one of the daters, just depending on the pool of people that we get that are available to participate in that taping of the show. And then another thing I want to say this to people, and it just makes my job and Kelly's job a bit easier. Please use communication. Please use communication before coming on the show. We have had people who went MIA before coming on the show, and Kelly and I would have to, I don't want to say chase people down, but we would have to call people or email or text people to see where you at, where they at. Are you still coming on the show? Where are you? The show is starting right now. And sometimes we get people who go MIA on us, just like one of the episodes we did last time. And then some people would text or email us back the next day saying that, I'm so sorry, I had a family emergency or life happens or whatever. Please use communication, people. It's not that hard. Communication is still the key in 2025. Okay. If you cannot be on the show, please give us a 24 to 48-hour notice that you won't be able to be on the show or that you're no longer interested. And for all of my people who send us submissions via Backstage, Direct Summit, or any other service, like, know what you're applying for, read the fine print, read everything in the description before you actually submit your interest to Soul Days Live. Reading is still fundamental in 2025, people. Okay, so read everything before you sign up for something. Because we had some people who signed up to be on Soul Days Live, and the same protocol exists. You get a number of questions to fill out and to answer, and in some cases, people don't fill it out. They don't fill out the form. They don't answer the questions, and we're wondering like, what's going on? Did they not get the email? Did they not get the memo? And that's part of the whole chasing thing where we have to kind of like do follow-ups with people, call them, email, text them, and sometimes they, or even at times rather, they'd be like, oh yeah, I got it, I'm not interested. Just say you're not interested. It's just, what I mean, like when you get the list of questionnaire, the list of questions and stuff like that, just say you're no longer interested. That's all. It's not that hard, people. Just say you're not interested or what have you, or you may have a change of heart or what have you. So just please keep the lines of communication open before coming on the show. Very important, because this is television, people. It's like you're not coming on the set of a television show, and the directors, the cast members, or the crew members for that sort, are wondering where you at. You're not on set, you're not on the scene. Where you at? And you just go MIA. Even though we're not paying people to be on the show, you still want to treat it as a television production. Okay, so just keep the lines of communication open before coming on the show, letting us know that you can't make it, letting us know where you at, or you could be having a technical difficulty the same night of the show. Like, just let us know. Just keep the lines of communication open to let us know that you're okay, or, you're not going to be able to come on the show 24 to 48 hours before the show starts. Okay. Um, and then one other important thing I want to address too on Soul Days Live, if you're already talking to somebody, don't come on the show. And let me just expound on that as well. We had a situation where we reached out to a young lady. She reconfirmed twice to coming on the show. And she was all excited and everything and what have you. And then the day of the show, especially like minutes before the show started, she went MIA on us, and we're wondering like, okay, where's she at? We got this dater who is in the queue, the bachelorette, and she's ready, and nobody's not here. So we reached out to her, and she said, "Oh, well, I got a boyfriend now." Okay, congratulations, but you should have told us that earlier. You know what I mean? You know, once again, lines of communication open, people. But eh, if you're talking to somebody, you may not be in a serious relationship with that person right now. But if you're already talking to somebody, I wouldn't advise people to come on the show, because 9 out of 10, if you're already talking to somebody, that means that you have an interest in that particular individual, but you want to see what other options are out there. And as somebody who's been in the dating streets before, in and out of the dating streets and stuff like that, people catch feelings behind the scenes, and keep in mind, this is the kind of show where it's going to be seen live and on demand, on television, on streaming apps, and what have you. And you could be tagged in it. You could be tagged in it on social media, especially when we run our promo, or we show our clips, and the short videos and the clicks on social media, and the person that you may be talking to follows you on social media and sees that video and confronts you or come to you and be like, wait a minute, you was on a dating show and you didn't tell me. You know what I mean? It just snowball from one issue to another, to another, to another. All right. So if you don't want that kind of drama, please, please, people, just think twice before coming on the show. Please don't come on the show if you're already talking to somebody, and especially, please don't come on the show if you're married. All right. I don't care if you are separated. If you have not been legally divorced from your spouse, don't come on the show. Don't come on the show if you're currently talking to someone. Don't come on the show if you are in a committed relationship with somebody. Don't come on the show if you are still legally married to that person, or if you're separated but yet you still legally married to that person and the divorce has not been finalized. Um, it will save you all the headaches in the world by not coming on the show. Now other dating platforms might allow that. And I've seen that happen so many times on other shows. I'm not going to say who they are. I'm not going to call them out. But once again, like I said, oh, sorry, technical difficulty. But like I said before, this is the show about integrity and taking it back to real interactions and how people should go about dating, if they want the kind of results that they want to get. If other platforms and other apps are not working for them, this is, I won't say the last resort, but this is pretty much just an alternative from what you are used to in the dating scene. So please, people, just make sure that you know you don't have anything else going on, or you're not in a situationship, or in a very unique place in your life right now. When it comes to dating, you want to be able to come on and meet somebody that you could potentially grow with, or if it's just on some friendship stuff, then that's cool too. Just make sure that you don't have anything going on right now. Please don't. Please don't. Especially for all my married folks. Now, for all my married folks and all of my single people, you can become a guest on the show, but not as a dater. And we've had episodes before where we brought on married couples and dating couples coming on here and giving advice to singles and daters that have been on the show before, just advising them on what they should do. You know what I'm saying? What to consider, what to look out for, and whatever advice or whatever tips that they could bring to the dater in real time, to help them out as they go on their date or dates with the three two, three candidates. Okay. And one last thing too before I end this video. This show is not for everybody. Okay. This show is definitely not for everybody. It's a different kind of dating show, not so much different from all the other dating shows, but it's a different kind of dating show. And I advise people to go back and watch all episodes of Soul Dates Live from 2023 all the way up to the most recent one and decide if this show is for you or not. Um, it may not be for you, the other dating shows may be for you, if you like all that kind of, excuse me if I could use the word ratchetness, or if you are more interested in getting paid to be on the show, this is not the kind of show for you. If you want to be on a paid show, definitely go to where they are doing that at. I know Netflix is a streaming service that has a lot of dating shows on there, and they pay people to be a part of those social experimental based shows. So, if your mindset, if your headset is pretty much in getting to meet people, but also getting paid for your exposure, what have you, this is not the show for you. But definitely go there if they are more suitable for what you're looking for as a dater slash talent, or paid talent. I want to make sure I put paid in there. But we have gotten a lot of people that volunteered their time to be on the show, and most of the people who volunteered to be on Soul Days Live are people who are looking to seriously date somebody that they are looking for a potential long lasting relationship with. um, but once again, I stress it again, this is not for everybody, you know. And I want to also include this as well too. Please, people, please spread the word about the show. Please spread the word about the show. We always love people who give great feedback to other people, whether it's potential guests, potential daters to come on the show. If you go on YouTube right now at Reach One Network, you see the views. Some episodes are much more higher than others as far as views wise goes. And that's because we need more of your support. The more support, the more views that we get. And the more views that we get, the more of a bigger level that Soul Dates Live can be on. So please, people, spread the word about the show to other people. When I tag you in it, tag others, brag about it on social media. You can use any of my clips that are on social media and repost it, reshare it, or what have you to get the word out about Soul Dates Live. Okay, so if you all can do me that huge favor in return, I really appreciate it. And it just helps us grow. Okay, because there's strength in numbers. And in order for us to grow, we need your support. So, with that being said, if you have any questions, and if you want to become a dater, or if you know somebody that is single and wants to be on the show and doesn't mind being on camera, please email us souldateslive@gmail.com. That's souldateslive@gmail.com. You got to be 21 and older to be on the show. Okay? 21 and older to be on the show. The show is for grown folks, and we have a great time. We have a great time on the show, and everything else will be in the email. So everything is not going to be explained in this video, but everything else that were not explained in this video will be explained in the email, which includes what to not say on camera, and what time you need to be on the show. I mean, obviously, you need to be in the queue early before the show starts so that way we can have you on standby before the show begins. But souldateslive@gmail.com, that is the email address. And you can follow me at Honey Movies app. Honey Movies app is, I want to say it's on X and on TikTok, but on Instagram is Honey Movies and TV on Instagram. We're going to have that displayed very soon, but you can also follow me at Sean Garvey ATL on Instagram, on IG. Okay. And before we close out, because I only got about 2 minutes here, um, is there anything else? Anything else? Please send more of your questions over to us. I might do a second explainer video very soon. This one is going to be very outdated in the near future. So just be on the lookout for a second explainer video coming your way in the near future as we enhance, as we upgrade and get the show to the next level. Because once the show goes to the next level, we want to take everybody with us to the next level and continue to support Soul Dates Live. Okay, so if you're not interested in watching those toxic based shows and ratchet dating shows and stuff, and you want to watch a wholesome type of show with real people looking for real meaningful relationships, Soul Dates Live is the show to watch. It's the show to support and the show to potentially come on to find your potential significant other, your friend, or hey, your future business partner. It's what you make of it at the end of the day. Okay. So this has been my time. I'm past an hour in this video. I don't want to be too long winded. But I hope you got everything out of this video. I'm Sean Garvey, co-owner of Honey, and the other producer for Soul Dates Live. And you might see me on another episode of Soul Dates Live, not as a host, but as a dater very, very soon. But we're coming up on Valentine's Day, so I'm looking for a Valentine myself. All right, and I know you are too. So, in advance, happy Valentine's Day, and I will see you, on the next Soul Dates Live. All right, and don't forget to follow us, like, share, and subscribe on our YouTube channel at Reach One Network. Okay, all right. And I know someone had a question they asked me earlier before I started this explainer video. What platforms are you on? And this is the reason why we have the ticker at the bottom here. But we go live on YouTube first right now before we go into syndication, which is Honey, Amazon Fire TV, Apple TV, Android TV, The Flow. And we also post our audio episodes on Spotify and iHeart podcast. We're going to have that in the ticker below very, very soon on one of our future episodes. Okay. All right. All right. Until the next time, take care. And like I said, I'll see you on the next Soul Dates Live. Ciao.